Sherlock Holmes is without a doubt a vastly intelligent character, and this can be a double-edged sword. His mind works faster than most, taking in vast amounts of information in a matter of seconds. It is often said that ignorance is bliss, but Sherlock would never allow himself that luxury. He must know the answer to every question. Even something as mundane as waiting for dinner guests can be an excruciating experience for Sherlock Holmes. He is unable to switch off his brain, and his hyper-awareness means that he's constantly honing in on the actions of everyone around him, whether he wants to or not. This is deafening to him as he is focusing on every conversation at once, up until Watson arrives, where Holmes can focus on one thing in particular. He must have one case to focus all of his mental effort on, or else his mind becomes skewed. Without this, he becomes debilitated and drives him to insanity, itching for something that demands the full range of his skills. Sherlock's obsession is not a temporary one, but a lifelong pursuit that is so intense it creates a lens through which he views the world. He needs a problem to solve, a puzzle to use up his energy. Otherwise, he becomes lost. He crawls around on the floor, unable to tolerate even a ray of sunlight.
Watson, be gentle with me.
Since he has been isolated in his room for weeks. Due to his self-made isolation, he cannot even tell what month it is. Holmes's obsession restarts with solving the mystery of Blackwood's murders, leading him to perform a seance, drink various substances, and fully let himself experience something beyond his previous reach. Since he does not believe in magic, there must be a logical explanation which he does not yet understand. Obviously, he will stop at nothing to learn what is truly going on. Despite his belief in logic and the lack of belief in magic or the supernatural, he can't help but become involved in the bizarre events unfolding around him. He will stop at nothing to learn what is genuinely happening, even if it means putting himself in danger. Holmes isn't someone who can go through life with a broad sense of the world. Instead, he requires intimate knowledge of everything. This ability to understand his opponent, predict their moves, is a massive advantage. However, it does make him somewhat arrogant, especially when there is no other reason to dispute his theory or the direction his thoughts are taking. Sherlock's character has the ability to deduce information from seemingly small clues. He is able to piece together a person's entire life story based on a quick glance at their appearance and behavior. However, Miss Adler is aware of this and uses it to her advantage. She knows that Sherlock can't resist the challenge of analyzing her, so she deliberately gives him incomplete or contradictory information to throw him off. For example, when she first appears, she tells him that her surname is Norton, but later admits that it's a lie. By doing this, she keeps Sherlock guessing and gives herself an upper hand in their interactions. When she realizes that Sherlock has feelings for her, she plays on his logical sensibilities by presenting herself as a puzzle to be solved. She encourages him to pursue her intellectually, even as she sends mixed signals and keeps him at arm's length emotionally. By doing this, she keeps Sherlock off balance and maintains control of their relationship. Perhaps the most significant way that Miss Adler manipulates Sherlock is by appealing to his emotions in a subtle but effective way. Although Sherlock denies having emotions, he is actually a deeply feeling person. Miss Adler's manipulation of Sherlock is successful because she understands his personality and how to play to his strengths and his weaknesses. She knows that he can't resist a challenge, that he wants to be seen as a genius and a rebel, and that he is a secretly deeply emotional person. By using her own intelligence and intuition, she is able to control him and get what she wants. However, it is worth noting that Sherlock is not entirely passive in their interactions. He is aware of what Miss Adler is doing and even confronts her about it. During Sherlock's first interaction with Mary, She asks him what he can tell about her. Both Watson and Holmes know that this is a bad idea, as they try to change the subject. However, Mary insists, and Holmes, unable to resist the challenge, decides to analyze her. He begins by making statements about his good friend Watson, which initially impresses Mary. However, as he enters a trance like state, he begins pulling apart her entire life, piece by piece. Holmes's hyper-focused attention on the details of Mary's life and behavior causes him to miss the emotional subtext of her reactions. He fails to recognize the vulnerability and insecurity that Mary is displaying and instead interprets her body language and tone of voice as a sign of manipulation and deceit. His lack of emotional intelligence prevents him from understanding that Mary's actions are not malicious, but rather a reflection of her desire to be understood and accepted. As Holmes continues to analyze Mary, his lack of emotional awareness causes him to go too far. He delves into her past, her relationships, and her motivations, accurately detailing every aspect of her life. However, because he is unable to factor in the emotions and random events, he fails to recognize the real impact of his words on Mary and Watson.
Are you listening? Damn.